Welcome to the 25th episode of the Parenting Dare podcast. My name is Lori Dorneman, and I am so excited for this particular podcast. But before we get there, a couple things. I am drinking AeroPress coffee. My good friend Carla, every time I go to Carla's house, she's just drinking the smoothest coffee. I'm like, what is that? So this engineer created this AeroPress, and I love French press coffee, and it's very similar, but even smoother than that. So thank you, Carla, for introducing me. And then my friend Lori gave me this coffee cup for Christmas, and I love my friend Lori. The other thing that's new, well, Eric's in the background. Hi, Eric.
Hey, Mom.
He's throwing things, so this might be an interesting podcast. But I also have been focusing on my hair because ever since my early 20s, I have been getting white hair and I've been dyeing my hair for a very long time. And so I just talked to this girl, Krista Hall, who's really good with color. And I'm like, hey, I need help. 52 years old, and I'm just so gray. And so we're now blonde. And I actually like it. My husband's like, okay. All right. But it's just a process of coming to terms with aging and doing it in a way that you can stand it. So I'm telling you all that because I know a lot of you listen to the podcast. But if you want to see the version of this, YouTube, what is this called? Oh, the Parenting Dare. The Parenting Dare podcast on YouTube. So, all right, today I am really excited for this particular podcast because I've been blogging since about June of 2015, and my first blog, Prayer and Duct Tape, it really helped me understand myself and really the message I was delivering. The exciting part to me, you have a message. How do I know this? Because you are alive. So if you are alive and you are in high school, over the age of 14, you have a message to share. And I'm serious about that. You can make an impact in this world. If you're over the age of 25, you have learned some truths about life, and you can change hearts and minds and lives by sharing those truths. And if you're over the age of 35 and you have a couple of kids and a house and a husband, you have some hard-earned tips and methods and ways of doing life. You have a ton of knowledge and you can inspire others. If you're the age of 45 with kids leaving the nest, you have changes occurring in your heart, changes that pierce, and you have to share those. If you're over the age of 55, you're kind of like me looking at the other side of the mountain, and I'm just telling you the view is better up here. It's crisper. Tell us what you see. So my point is you have a message, and that message is part of your God-given mission. So do you have a special needs child? Do you love gardening? Do all of your friends come to you for marital advice? What is your passion? What is your specialty? What are you really, really good at? Do people tell you that you are funny? Are you inspirational? Start a blog. Share your message. And the idea of a blog, I just thought that, I don't know. Remember, Eric, how blogging was such a foreign concept to me? I just didn't understand why people would blog. That's the God honest truth. I just thought, why would people blog? But I have such a different perspective now. I love blogging, and I love encouraging people to blog. And there's other reasons to start a blog, and I'm just going to give you 3 of them. Lots of people start blogs to become better at something. So if you actually suck air at something, you can start a blog on that topic, and it's going to keep you accountable. I mean, you don't have to be an expert. But through that blog, you can showcase how you became the expert, which gives people this hope. And they oh my gosh, I see her at the beginning, and if she can do it, I can. So people love, it's called the hero's journey. And that is just where someone starts and they figure it out and they become, better at something. That's the hero's journey, and it's fascinating to witness. So here's just some examples that I love watching. If you want to eat better, you can start a blog that captures your journey as you learn how to truly nourish yourself. People love watching the transformation. Let's say you're a terrible money manager. Oh my gosh, start a blog about that. Share with others in a way that motivates you and holds you accountable, and it will inspire other people. And that's just a powerful combination. Let's say you want to be a minimalist. See, these are things that I think would be really fun to learn about. Show us how you do that. Like specifically, how do you become someone who lives like on a shoestring budget and doesn't have a lot of stuff around them? That's minimalist. How do you do that? Show us. If you want to do something big, like run a marathon, start the process, break it down for us, teach us. And, I always think of runners, they're awesome every single day. And do that. And that's one of the best gifts of blogging. You can become who you really want to be and share that in the process. So that's step one, becoming a blogger. You can become better at something. The second reason to start a blog, you can create a community of like-minded people. I am just telling you, there is no better feeling than finding your own tribe. All right, so back in the day, you would go over to a weekly meeting for something like motherhood, meet for coffee, gather with, the small group of women. Well, for me, I love mothers, and all I do is I post a blog about motherhood, and my people, my mothers, they share with me. They share their heart with me. That's the power of the internet. And the more authentic you can make your message and really get into that core of that message, your vibe will literally create a tribe that knows you, trusts you, and likes what you have to share. It's fascinating. I love that. And the third reason to start a blog is to earn money. And that's a shocking one for me. But yes, you can earn money as a blogger, and you don't have to sell your soul to do that. You just have to figure out who to learn from and then follow in his or her footsteps. So you do have a message to share, and you can use the internet for great good. So the primary reason I started my first blog about 4 years ago was to start a community of like-minded people. I called it prayer and duct tape because that's what held our family together on most days. Oh, look, I put my glasses on and everything gets clear. See, aging, I'm old, I'm getting older. So I asked a fellow blogger and a friend, Erica, to help me get started. And she came over to my house. She was so gracious. And she sat down with me and she was telling me just the basics of getting started. And I had one feeling: overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know anything about the blogging world. And I tell you that because sometimes it's easy to look at someone's middle of the journey and think to yourself, oh, well, I couldn't do that. Yes, you can. You can do this. You are awesome, and you do have a message to share. So I started writing for a couple of reasons in that, like-minded community. So when I was knee-deep in diapers and baby barf, like years ago, I promised myself that when I got to the land of having kids that could feed, wipe, and dress themselves, I would reach out and I would help other mothers laugh at the crappy parts of motherhood. So blogging became my way of doing that. I also wanted to build a platform when I could go into this difficult topic of how to educate our kids, actually educating parents about talking to their kids about the dangers of pornography and that whole realm of the internet and the dark side of the internet. It was a huge weight on my heart, and it was a topic that affected every single family, yet no one really discussed it. So I started my blog to, in that like-minded community, really make mothers laugh, and then also talk to them in a real way about love, lust, sex, pornography, all that kind of stuff. And as I wrote, I discovered this interesting truth. Blogging is its own world, and with focus, I could really just grow my reach. It's a huge world. And my friend Erica, the one who got me started, was a great encourager, but I didn't want to suck her dry. So I started doing some research, and I got disenchanted so quickly because, books and websites on blogging, they just show like a part of how to grow a more successful blog. And as I kept reading and learning, I just had this like this messy pile of information that was gathered, and a variety of techniques and differing opinions. And it just, it like created noise in my head. And so in January of 2016, totally on a whim, I bit the proverbial bullet and I paid someone to teach me how to blog in a bigger and better way. Her name's Ruth Soukup, and her big course is called Elite Blog Academy. So when I entered that, it was like walking into a 5-star hotel after spending like 6 months of trying to live on my own in the wild. And I am not kidding. Ruth gave me everything I needed to be successful as a blogger. So if you're still reading this or listening to this, that means you're like, oh, I'm kind of intrigued by this. So I'm going to go into some details about Elite Blog Academy, because it's a powerful, power-packed place. So she has 4 modules, and within each module, she's got 3 lessons within them. And so I expected module 1, which is about the writing process. So Ruth would just help me refine my message and create posts that would want to be shared. And what I would do, when I get ready in the morning, or when I'm working out or whatever, I would just listen to her over and over, because her thoughts were just really inspiring. And she helped me create kind of like my message in a way that people would read. And then I expected module 2, which is about growing my traffic. And using Ruth's methods, I've had posts that were shared all around the world. My most popular one was over 5,000 shares. And she taught me how to use the analytics, and it's awesome. So what that means is there's a map, an analytic map, and you open it up and there's like dots and numbers all over it. So they'll show like 3 people from Malaysia are reading your blog and 4 people from, Cuba. It's awesome. And so that made me instantly cooler with my kids, because they would just look at this whole world map and they were freaking out that people would actually read what their mom had to say. So I love that. And so that was growing my traffic. But what I didn't expect was module 3. So Ruth stated emphatically that if I am a blogger with a message, then I could create a product for my readers out of that message. And that just shocked me. And I had to listen and re-listen to that 3rd module, and I downloaded her PDF and I would read it, and it just took a hot minute to grow on me. And Ruth would just say, like, if you have this blog, centered around these, message that you want to give, then your readers, the people that like you and trust you and know you, they will want a product that's going to enrich their lives even more. And so I just thought, okay, I love that. I can create a product that's going to change and transform the lives of mothers. And it was just a powerful thought in my head, and it excited me as much as it scared me. And so, yeah, she pushed me out of my comfort zone, but she was also there like every step of the way of the production of that. And then her 4th model, which I'm not really going to talk about, but it's about goal setting and having a team of people. So she just really takes you each step of the process of building a really successful business in your blog. So for me, I created this course called the Parenting Dare, and Ruth showed me how it was awesome. We could start in small little baby steps with a little baby launch. It's just very itty bitty. And she said, your initial audience could actually give you feedback as you created it. You didn't have to like go in some dungeon, create it and put it out there. You could say, hey, I'm doing this. Who wants to join me? And I had about 50 people join me. And so as I put up videos, they could give me feedback immediately. And it was awesome. And it was, it just felt safe, I guess, and secure starting that way. And I didn't have to know everything. I just had to begin. And it was then where Eric joined me. It was crazy. And I share everything on that aspect on this episode. One of the first episodes called The Whole Story, Lori's side, and Eric shares it at his side, The Whole Story, Eric's side. All right, so if you want to know more, you can look there on our podcast. But So once we created that baby seed launch, we used the feedback to develop our actual course called the Parenting Dare 1.0. And that really just journeys with parents into the depths of parenting. And we're really guiding proactive parents on how to talk about love, lust, sex, and porn with their children. It was so much fun to create. It was crazy. And we still get great feedback from parents. And we are actually working on the Parenting Dare 2.0, which is just really a more intentional course. It's a little bit harder in the fact that it's more challenging for parents with more activities with their kids. It's a little bit more demanding at the time, but we scrunch it together and we're going to walk more purposely with parents through that. And we love how it's turning out. And we're going to be sharing that with you in the next couple months. But Eric and I are both writing books too. And I just can't even believe that. It's just so cool. And that all started with me starting a blog. It's fascinating. So I love Ruth Soukup. I love Elite Blog Academy, and I love people that help me become more of who I really am. So for you, what is your message? What do you want to share with the world? And if you're thinking that, Lori, I do have a message I want to get out there. Can I share Ruth with you? She is offering a 5-day Build Your Blog Bootcamp, and it's from February 28th to March 4th, 2019. And there's a link right here. And as you go through those 5 days, you will begin to see that, yes, I can create a place where my voice will be heard. And her comprehensive course, the big one, the EBA, Elite Blog Academy, it's actually 4.0, only opens up once a year. And so her boot camp is designed just to get people started and see if you like her style. What I love about Ruth is I came in at 2.0, Elite Blog Academy 2.0, and as she progresses and gets better and adds more things, I'm always part of her course. She doesn't just have it for a year. And so I love that about that. So no matter where you are in the journey, if you already have a blog or if this post just got you thinking about one, check out her boot camp. And again, that's all linked here. And I would love, 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 love to hear from you. What is your message? Like, what is pressing on your heart? I would love to go back and forth with you on that if you'd like. You can email me at lorianderic@theparentingdare.com. Enjoy your week.